Okay, we're going to take a look at a prototype game that I'm working on right now. I think the title is going to be called The Kaiser's Navy, but in the map that my son made, we were using the title World War I at Sea, so that's why you're going to see some differences. And I thought we'd just give you an overview of what the game is going to be about. It's going to be based on John Edwards' popular War at Sea system, which was designed well over, 44 years ago. And this is going to be a World War I version of that game. Now, there's going to be significant differences. I've made a lot of changes too, but people who play the War at Sea system will recognize certain aspects of it too. So let's take a look at the counters, the squadrons and stuff, some of the ideas I've come up with, and we'll end the video. It's just an introduction. Like I said, it's in playtest right now. I haven't finished all the rules yet. Most of them are in my head. But let's just take a look at some of the pieces. Okay, we're looking at some of the German counters right now, or rather central powers. Nothing really new here. These are 1-inch counters. Of course, the final ones probably will not be that size, probably 5/8. It's got the numbers we're all used to. That'll be the number of dice the ship rolls to in combat. That's its defense value, how much punishment it can take, and that's its speed value, mainly for breaking off combat. And we've got some Austro-Hungarians there. Made a mistake on that counter. We've got the Turkish ship, the Yavuz Selim, which of course is actually the German battlecruiser Goeben. And if the Goeben does make it to Turkey, you'll replace it with the Yavuz Selim. We've got a whole mess of British dreadnoughts. In the game, I think there's 47 total. So this game is very much at the dreadnought level. You're not going to see cruisers, light cruisers, and destroyers. Not at this level. We've got the Italians in there too. There's a couple of sample counters. Andrea Doria. We've got the Russians in there. 3 of them there. And various control markers. Fire counters when you're doing these long lines of ships firing, that kind of thing. Break-off counters when you're in combat and you take enough damage and you have to leave. Of course, we've got the U.S. They come in very late in the war, turn 7. We have a bunch of dreadnoughts there. And I've made something new for the game. There's these squadron counters. Because with this many ships, you're going to have a heck of a lot of counters on the board. So to reduce counter clutter, you're going to move, generally, for the Germans and the Entente players, the squadron counters. And the Germans have squadron counters too. So movement is by squadron, except when you get into battles, of course, individual ships will come into play. The Central Powers have a whole mess of U-boats. They don't represent individual U-boats or individual squadrons for that matter. They represent really a capability. And I'll show you the map itself. It's got the stuff we're used to seeing, how many points the Central Powers would get if they controlled the area, and how many points the Entente player would get if they controlled the area. And these are what's going to be changing in the game too. As we play test, we may find out that these values do not work. We've got a special area, the Western Approaches, which will have special rules for that, U-boats and points. We do have Gibraltar with a very limited repair capacity. We've got Malta with the 3 battle cruisers that start the war there. Egypt. Rhodes, the Italians, no repair capability. Black Sea, got your mines there. And I'll lift up the camera here a bit and we'll show you the turn record. Each turn represents about 6 months. So it's very broad based. There's our turn track where you're going to be able to score victory points. So the game is in its infancy. I would say it's in its early playtest period right now. I fooled around with it a couple of times solitaire, and everything's up for grabs right now. Certainly the point system is, and we're just refining and polishing the rules now. So that's what I'm working on right now. I'm hoping to bring the prototypes down to WBC in next summer, 2020. As some of you know, I'm already in the final stages of finishing War for America, my game on the American Revolution. So I'm going to bring a prototype of this game and War for America to WBC. Maybe get that in the open gaming area because we haven't got a publisher established yet. So anyway, just a little sneak preview. I might do a video when I get the rules down, show you what a typical turn is like. But for now, thanks for watching the preview of the Kaiser's Navy.